Quiet on set.
Roll camera.
Sound speed.
Mark, please. And action.
Today we're on set at This Is the Place Heritage Park in Salt Lake City, chatting with students from the FEMME program from Utah Valley University. FEMME, or Females Empowered by Movie Making Experiences, is a film production project for digital cinema majors.
My name is Marlena, and I am a BTS videographer for FEMME this year. And outside of school, I am an editor.
My name is Maddie Pickett. I am a student producer, and I'm a senior this year.
My name is Shawnee. I am a junior at UVU, and my role on FEMME is locations manager.
I think FEMME is important for students because it gives them an opportunity to be on set with other women who are mentors, who are showing them the way and saying this is possible for you. We now, I think thanks to the Me Too movement, see that we have a lot of women who are creatives above the line, but we still don't see women equally represented below the line. So doing grip and electric, doing audio, really behind the camera, doing first AC, lifting heavy things, doing all of that really tends to be historically male dominated and a little bit of a brohood. So I think a program like FEMME is so unique because it gives us a different feeling and really a sisterhood, a safety to make mistakes and to learn and grow together.
As a student producer, I see the project from beginning to end. I see it all. I have done a lot of collecting crew, finding the perfect position for the students, connecting them with their mentors so they know who to look for on set, getting everyone all squared away and feeling that they are prepared and confident coming into the filming weekend, because a lot of times it's their first time on set, and this is a very first experience with filmmaking that they get. And it's awesome that it's with a bunch of women, that they can feel comfortable to ask questions, they can feel comfortable to make mistakes, feel comfortable to say, I don't know what hi-hat is, or I don't know what's a grip clip, like what does that look like? And their mentors can help them along the way, and we can create an awesome movie.
So as locations manager, obviously I find the location, we scout locations, kind of see what's positive about it, what's maybe not so positive about it, and we work with the director, the DP, art. We all come together, do a million different little tech scouts and iron out all the logistics. And then another big thing is making sure that the people that we're using the location from are getting paid properly, that all the legal agreements are correct, and that we're all just on the same page with one another.
FEMME is such a perfect learning environment. It taught me a lot of skills and communication between departments on sets, so definitely set me up really well for the rest of my school.
I think what I'm most excited to learn, or I guess look forward to, is just the relationships and the networking through FEMME, because this is a great opportunity to meet people outside of UVU and just build those relationships, whether it's on or off set. So, yeah.
This FEMME has been so different from the last two that I've been on. We've got Jerusha Hess, who is an amazing writer-director, and with that just comes a bigger scope of how many crew we need and all the different art pieces that come in and the costuming. It's been a lot more learning too with just the producing side of what's an I-9, what do you need for an I-9, and how to keep track of your budget and make sure you keep all your receipts and all those little logistical things that I've never done on this scale before. I've just done on student sets when we're like, okay, I got $1,000 and we'll see what we can make. But this is a lot bigger, and there's so many hands that have been helping and learning to manage those hands as well as a student and as a student leader. That has been a very fun experience. It's been a very challenging experience, but I've had great mentors along the way that give me so much grace.
We got really lucky. We have wanted to have the amazing Jerusha Hess direct for us, and I think I approached her maybe 3 years ago, and then I approached her, I think it was a year and a half ago, and she said yes, and we've been working on this project together for a year. So she got the first draft of the script to us a year ago, and our student producers and my other producing partner, we've been working with her for the past year. She and Drew have written a couple of different drafts, and this script was truly the first script we've had that was written for this program. So it really feels like this beautiful coming together of a feminist, female-focused script. So these are about films that are by women, for women, and about women.
This is a story about a woman who's dealing with the newfound understanding that her husband is a polygamist. It's a comedy, it is goofy, it is set in the pioneer days in Utah, and it is just a lot of fun. You know what, I've been asked a couple times in the last few years if I would do a FEMME project, and I didn't really understand what the program was, and finally, Jenny McKenzie really cornered me, and she told me what this program is, and I said, yes, I would love to do something. And I happened to be living in New Zealand at the time and pretty bored, and that's when I started writing with my friend Drew this silly tale about a pioneer family. I wish when I was a student, I had a group of female cohorts making movies together. We were, 20 years ago, making movies with fellow students. I was the only girl, it felt like, in every student short and in every room. It really felt lonely, even though I know there were other girls. I think this program specifically gives power, ownership, confidence to a female population that you wouldn't otherwise get professionally in this industry. So to be around all these girls and feel their energy and help them make a movie, golly, it's amazing.
Basically, I'm in charge of designing the world that we're looking at in front of camera. The world that the actors live in, the world that we shoot, the world that we light, the world, just the whole world, from color palette to set decorations to practical lighting, everything you see in front of camera that's not on the actor. Just the whole look of the world is what I'm in charge of managing and making sure comes to fruition. I think it's really important for students to have this experience on set, because there's only so much you can learn from the books, there's only so much you can learn from, you know, your teachers and things, but like being here and being in it and like learning as you go. I was able to be on set while I was in school, and it just like catapulted my experience and my like career to be able to like learn from how you're supposed to be on set, or how it's like respectable to be on set, how it's the etiquette, but like learning the language and actually being able to use it, and then like knowing where to be and what your role is and how to do it. It's like so much easier to do it in person, like there, because explaining it, you can only get so far.
And I think one thing I'd say is our hope is the FEMME program gets replicated. This is a program where I think, again, I'd love to see other film programs across the country do the same thing. You know, we certainly don't own any copyright on this kind of a program, and I'm grateful to my colleague who founded it. And I think it's something that is just, it would be great to see it flourish on other universities. I would say to any student, whether they're pursuing film or another topic, is pursue your passion. Don't do something because you really feel as though you have to pay the bills. That will come, but follow your passion. I mean, I think really when we find something that is our niche and our love, and we feel good about what we're doing and it connects with our values, then I think the money will come. The bills will get paid eventually.
I think students that are interested in films should join FEMME because, like I said earlier, it's just a great place to make mistakes but also learn from them, and you have a great support system around you that just encourages you and are patient with you, and so I think it's a perfect place to honestly learn in the best possible way.
I hope they feel inspired to and empowered to like be in this industry, because there's so much space for us, especially if we can take it. I mean, like our eyes and just our energy is really important on set, and I feel like we just have so much to offer that I would love students to take away that with this experience.
My favorite thing about working on this project is the mentorship that we have. So we have people from local Utah and then people at UVU, so like the professors, and then those in the industry like our director, the DP, art. And I just think it's really cool because they have a lot of knowledge and a lot of experience, and they're really, really supportive of it being an all-female crew, which has been super nice.
One of our student producers said it's like Christmas when we had our opening Zoom meeting, our pre-production meeting with about 50 women and our 10 mentors. And you know, it's just, we look forward to it. So there's incredible energy, there's amazing cooperation and collaboration. And it's just, to me, to see our students learning through practical experience. Filmmaking is something where, yes, we have to have textbooks. We have to read, we have to understand certain things around how lenses work, what apertures mean, how we light a scene. But the best way to learn film production is to have hands-on experiences.
Thanks again to the FEMME crew for having us on set. We had a blast learning more about the program and getting to see the action close up from the students and mentors. We can't wait to see the finished film. If you'd like to keep updated with the project, be sure to follow them on Instagram at UVU FEMME Project.
Utah's a magical place with a lot of energy.
Within 20 minutes of driving from downtown Salt Lake City, you're in the mountains. It just looks so American to me.
You come to Salt Lake City, you come to Utah, you find a crew who is hungry and they want to stretch themselves every single day to sort of match your vision.
We were able to crew and cast so much locally. I think that brought so much to the project.
It's just easier to sort of make our ideas happen here.
Next, we have a filmmaker spotlight with producer Marcie Gibboney. Marcie has worked as a mentor on the FEMME Project for the past few years. She also runs Fade to Black Productions, where they not only produce films, but also offer workshops and production assistant trainings and more.
I started working as a consultant for an IT company right out of school, so I did that for quite a while. And then I wanted to change. And I had a friend who was working I had found out had been working in production accounting and film here. I knew there was a lot of things that were filmed here in Salt Lake. I kept seeing like film crews in my neighborhood, like at grocery stores and at neighborhood schools and things like that. So I was like, okay, I want to look into this. Because I had a background in production management and managing chaos and a lot of people and moving pieces, I started gravitating towards that part of film production, and started working in the production office, and then started working on some bigger shows and things like that, and from there went to producing. And I think the reason I love it so much and I'm so passionate about it is because you really are dealing with all the crew, the cast, studios if you're working on that type of project, and just all the pieces and putting all the pieces together to make this creative vision come to life. Someone will normally reach out about a project they have or an idea they have, and I'm more of the day-to-day production manager. So I am dealing with the, pre-production aspects of things, and like I said, from the very beginning. So it really is helping, put together a budget in the very, very beginning as well, and seeing if that will work with the financing that's being offered or what we're getting from a financing perspective. And then of course, trying to get all the pieces together and working with department heads and making sure that they can work within their budgets and just all of those pieces. So I started a company called Fade to Black Productions. I don't know, it's probably been about 10 years now. And it originally started, I had a partnership, or I still do have a partnership with the Utah Film Commission. And we started using that as the umbrella to teach production assistant training program. At this point, so we're still doing that program. I don't know, I think there's hundreds of people that have gone through that program at this point. I work with usually a first AD, and that's the training class that we do. And we offer them to the public, and then we also offer them to the various universities and colleges in the state too. We've probably been to everyone here. But then also, I've been producing short films. And so part of that has been, helping be that entity that is signatory with the Screen Actors Guild. That's one piece of it, but then also will manage a budget. And so that's what I've been doing with Utah Valley University under the FEMME program, is I've been the producing entity for FEMME for the last 3 years. For FEMME, I am the producer and I'm also the producing mentor. So I work very closely with the students that have been assigned that producing role, and we start sometimes 9 months to a year ahead of time as soon as we get a script from a director, and we start pre-production and we go from there, and we produce a really amazing short film that over the last couple years we've been able to get into some festivals both locally and out of state, and it's just an amazing experience for not only us as mentors, we learn so much from the students too, but also for the students and really working with each of their mentors. There are a lot of producer roles. There actually is, the Producers Guild of America actually has put out a document on their website that explains all of the different roles, because people use that word producer lightly, and it can mean a lot of different things. So a lot of times you'll have the producers in the very beginning who are attached to the money, and they'll usually be an executive producer. And they either found the script, found the money, have a director attached. It's that very, very beginning stage of the project. And then from there, once they have that financing, then they'll start turning that over to the other producers. And there are people like co-executive producers and co-producers and the producers and the produced by, and then there's a unit production manager who's sometimes considered a producer too. And it really just depends on the project and the amount of money that they have as far as how many producers they will have doing various things. But they're usually assigned very specific tasks. It's either like working with a studio, or is working with the day-to-day operations. So it really does just depend on, the budget, the project, and that will determine like how many producers there actually are involved. I think, and I'll take it from my experiences and the producers that I love for sure, as far as what I think is important for a producer. It's somebody who is, it sounds obvious, but somebody who's very well organized, someone who is is a very good communicator, but then can also really see the big picture. And can kind of put themselves in the middle of the creative and the logistics, just making sure, I guess, creatively that it makes sense to do it with the budget that you have. So it's just being, I think people that have that vision and can look at the script and the budget and figure out like what is the ideal number of crew that I need to pull this off, what are the rates that are reasonable that I can pay the crew, how much do we need for production design to make this look really awesome, costumes, hair and makeup, etc. So it's really that person who can have that big picture, all those pieces, but then also, I think I said before, but making sure creatively that you're meeting those objectives too, the vision of the director. Don't give up, I think, is a big one. It's definitely hard to break in sometimes, even in Salt Lake, but I think the thing is you can't give up. You have to keep trying. Your first position may not be the position that you want. I worked as a PA when I first got into the business. I really don't know anyone who hasn't worked as a PA in the business. Like every producer I know started as like a production PA, either in the office or on set, and put those days in and those hours in. And just, I think the biggest thing is not to be in a rush. I think the most important thing is to like learn as much as you can about all the different positions and to be a sponge. That might sound corny, but it's like just being a sponge. And I've even told people like being an extra or background actor on a show here is an amazing experience. I've done it before. I think a lot of people I know have done it before, and you can go and you just sit there and just watch everything happening. and you observe how things work and what's camera doing and who are these people running around all the time, and you just kind of start putting pieces together too. I have some students who are doing do short films a lot, and I think, you know, doing those kinds of projects, you know, you might just have a little bit of money, but then the next one you do, you might have more money. And so you just kind of keep building on those experiences and those projects that you have and get bigger as you go, and next thing you know, you might have a feature. So.
Well-trained journalists are important to democracy. I'm Dr. Jean Norman, journalism professor at Weber State University and a founder of the Utah College Media Alliance, and we believe in the power of good journalism. A partnership of student media organizations at Utah's universities and colleges, the Alliance promotes student media and journalism at the high school and college levels. We share resources and provide training through annual media symposiums and the Future of Journalism High School Media Awards. Would you like to learn more? Find us at utahcollegemedia.org.
Thanks again to Marcie for her great advice and industry insights. And thank you for joining us for another episode of Students in Focus. Make sure to subscribe to our channel so you don't miss the next episode. And you can check out past episodes at UENVideo. And don't forget, you can submit your project to be featured here on Students in Focus. See you next time.